Welcome back, students. Today we will going to learn a new chapter, and the chapter is very interesting. The chapter name is chemical bonding, and in this chapter we will going to learn certain topics which are very important. The first topic is Lewis dot structure. Then we will learn about the formal charge on an atom. Then about covalent and ionic bond, how they are formed and what are their characteristics. Then we will discuss the ionic character in a covalent compound, that is via percentage ionic character and as well as from dipole moment. Then we will learn about covalent character in an ionic compound, that will be governed by Fazan's rules. Then we will discuss about Born-Haber cycle, okay, and lattice enthalpy and hydration enthalpy. Then we will discuss about bond length, bond order, bond energy, and the bond angle. Then we will discuss about valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. Then we will move to valence bond theory, in which we will discuss primarily hybridization. Then we will discuss metallic bond, coordinate bond, and other van der Waals attractions. Then we will discuss about molecular orbital theory, and in the last portion we will discuss the hydrogen bonding. Each and every topic has subtopics, and each topic is very important, both in a knowledge perspective as well as in examination perspective. Remember that I think in every exam, whether it is NEET, IIT Mains, or IIT Advanced, or KVPI, or in your board exam, you will see that nearly 5 to 8% questions are purely on the chemical bonding chapters. That much huge, you can say, weightage that chapter carry. Why? Because as we will learn various technique in P block, D block, coordination compound of this chapter also. So this chapter also, like periodic property, is actually reoccur again and again in various chapters. Like in chemical bonding, we will also discuss a topic that is called resonance. Now resonance, you will see that it has a tremendous impact in case of organic chemistry. So the chapter is very interesting. So let's move and discuss various aspects. First, we have to take into consideration why an element is able to form compounds. Why do elements react to form compounds? Okay, even in element also, element exist in various molecular form, like phosphorus exists in P4 form, sulfur exists in S8 form, oxygen exists as either O2 or either O3, that is oxygen, that is ozone. Okay, carbon exists as Buckminster Florence, either as C60, C80. The chain can go up to 320, 500 like also. Similarly, why and what forces are holding the atom together in a molecule? What is the nature and type of ions present in an ionic compound? So these are very fundamental questions which I think every student, when he goes through the text, then each and every line these fundamental question arises in his mind, that why does it occurs? Okay, that why do elements are able to form compounds, or if elements are there, why it is necessary to transform into molecules and compounds. Now, a chemical bond is a lasting attraction between atom, ions, or molecules that enables the formation of a chemical compound. So it means a chemical bond takes place. So a chemical bond can be a covalent bond, can be anionic bond, can be a coordinate bond. Okay, so that the atom, ions or molecule transform into chemical compounds. The bond may result from electrostatic attraction between opposite charged ions as in ionic compound, or through the sharing of electrons as in case of covalent compounds. And more importantly, the strength of all these chemical bonds varies considerably. There are strong bonds, or they are called as primary bonds, as ionic bond, covalent bond, and metallic bonds. And there are also weak bonds, which are also called as secondary bonds. They are like dipole attractions, ion dipole attraction, ion induced dipole, London dispersion forces, okay, T forces, or you can call them more appropriately van der Waals forces, and hydrogen bonding. Okay, the same paragraph I am now repeating again. A chemical bond is a lasting attraction between ions, molecules that enable the formation of a chemical bond. The bond may result from the electrostatic force between oppositely charged ions as an ionic compound, or through the sharing of electron as in case of covalent bonds. The strength of the chemical bonds vary considerably. There are strong bonds, they are called as primary bonds, as covalent bonds, ionic bond, or metallic bonds, or you more say coordinate bonds also. So coordinate bonding is also present. While the weak bonds or secondary bonds such as dipole interaction, London dispersion forces, and hydrogen bonding, that is also what? That is also going into consideration in our next few classes. So we can say that welcome to the new experience. So now there are two types of bonds are present, that is called ionic bond and covalent bond. These are two extremes. In between that, a polar covalent bond may exist. An ionic bond is formed by a complete transfer of electrons, while covalent bond is formed by sharing of electrons. While in case of polar covalent bond, if the covalent bond is formed between two atoms having different electronegativity, then we will say a polar bond has been formed. So there are two extremes. One extreme is called ionic bond. It results from the complete transfer of the electron from a metal to a non-metal. While in case of what? While in case of covalent compound, it results from sharing of electrons between the atoms, usually found between the non-metals. So ionic bond is found between metal and a non-metal. Metal will lose the electron and non-metal will accept the electron. While covalent bond, there is a sharing of electron between the two non-metal atoms. So you can see that non-metals are involved both in ionic bond as well as in covalent bond. Now, how can you describe the electrons in various way? That we will ask when we see an ion or atom or a molecule, we will ask how many electrons are involved. What is the electronic configuration of the atoms involved? What type of orbitals are involved? And more importantly, what is the quantum number of the elements which are involved in the overlapping of the orbitals? And the most important part, that how will you represent that as a Lewis symbol? Because we will start our journey with this particular topic, that is the Lewis symbol. Now, why elements or atoms or molecules they form compound? The only answer to that problem is that octet rule. That atom, ions or molecules, they are react together or add together to give you what? To give you a compound which is governed by what? Octet rule. So atom gain electron or lose electron or share electron until they are surrounded by the 8 valence electrons. So all noble gases have S2p6 configuration except that of helium. Okay, that is why hydrogen is able to behave like alkali metal as well as halogens, due to that only, because helium is an exceptional case. Okay, although it is not that octet rule is always followed, there will be exceptions to the octet rule also, but almost all the cases are governed by the octet rule, because in the coming chapter we will going to learn that also, that even in case of xenon and randon, which have a complete S2p6 configuration, despite being that is reactive in nature. So it means that potential energy levels are more important way to describe the stability rather than the octet rule. But as a student, since octet rule is governed and can be able to can able to understand it very easily, so we will going to learn that element, atom, ions, they follow octet rule while forming the compounds. So we will again what? Again kept in our mind that atom or at molecules, they either gain, loss, share or accept electron to achieve the nearest noble gas configuration. So an atom is what? Is always want to obtain the configuration of its nearest noble gas, either maybe by losing electron or by gaining electron or by sharing electrons. Now, in case of Lewis symbol, which is very important, first topic of your class 11th, you can say electrons are represented by dots or by cross depending upon your choice. Some teacher will use the dots, some will use cross, don't worry about that. Okay, but Lewis used dots. Only valence electrons are used. Don't need to what? Like electronic configuration, you sometime you write the inner orbital configuration also, but in case of Lewis structure or in case of Lewis symbol, it is not required to write the electronic dots that belongs to the inner shells. So dots should be drawn only for the valence orbit. Like hydrogen has configuration of 1s1, so you will draw only one electron. Lithium has configuration of 2s1, and before that it is 1s2. So what will happen here? So here what can happen, that you will not write what? You will not write 1s2, you will write only s1. So you will write only what? One electron. Similarly, in atomic sodium also, its configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. You will write only this. So only what should we do? We should only, or we must only write the valence electron of that particular element. Now, how to draw the Lewis structure, that is the as stated by the Lewis. The steps that must be followed is what? The first, okay, the total number of valence electron present in the molecule is calculated by adding the individual valency of each atom. Now you want to represent what? You want to represent the Lewis structure of a compound. Then what should happen? total number of valence electron of all the atom must be calculated. If the molecule is an anion, number of electrons that carry the negative charge should also be added. When the cationic molecule is considered, electrons are subtracted from the total count in order to make up the positive charge. Let us suppose the negative charge is -2, you will add up 2 electron extra to the valence electron. And if the positive charge is +3, then you have to subtract the 3 from the total number of valence electron present in the atoms that are involved in bonding. The least electronegative atom should be taken as the central atom. Okay, let us suppose, but hydrogen should not be the central atom. The atoms are connected via single bonds. The lone pair of electrons are assigned to each atom belongs to the molecule. Commonly, the lone pair are assigned to the most electronegative atom first. Once the lone pair are assigned, if every atom does not have an octet configuration, a double or triple bond must be drawn to satisfy the octet of that atom. If required, a lone pair can be converted to bond pair in order to satisfy the octet rule of 2 atoms. Now let us suppose hydrogen configuration is 1s1. So how will you represent hydrogen? That's the valence electron representing hydrogen. If you have carbon, that is configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p2, then this is the valence shell. So what can you say? Carbon has how many? Carbon has 2 electron in S and 2 electron in P. So generally what happens? Generally whenever carbon is able to transform into a compound, first the paired electron must be unpaired. So it is generally shown by 4 dots. This paired 2s2, I am repeating once more, this pairing of 2s2 must unpaired. So that electron goes from here to here. Okay, so I am repeating once more. Carbon has 4 valence electron. Similarly, what can you say? Okay, similarly look at the nitrogen. It has 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. So nitrogen has how many? 1 lone pair, that is 2s2, and 3 p electrons are there. So you can represent the nitrogen like that. Again I am telling you, this is 2s2, this is 2p1, 2p1, 2p1. Why? Because 2p has 3 different orientation, that is 2px, 2py, 2pz. So each orientation given by 1 electron each. Are you sure? Clear? Similarly, what can happen? Oxygen has configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. So you will write 2s2 and 2p4. So how will you represent oxygen? You will write oxygen like that. Now these are what? This is 2s and this is 2p. These are valence electron. This electron is not written, that is inner shell. That is not my rule, that is octet rule. So I am following the Lewis structure rules. So these 2 electrons are paired ones, so you will draw like that. And these 2 electrons are unpaired. So what will happen? You can show like that. One is here, another is here. Are you sure about that? Clear? Similarly, in case of fluorine, it has configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. So these are valence electron. So this is 2s and this is 2p. So the value should be what? That is 2s, and this is about what? 2p5. So fluorine has how many? 1, 2, 3 lone pairs are there, and one electron is unpaired. I am repeating once more. Fluorine has what? 3 lone pair and 1 unpaired electron. Oxygen has how many? Oxygen has 2s2, 2p4. So like that only. So 2 lone pair and 2 electron which are unpaired. So first we will learn that how a covalent bond is formed, how a single covalent bond is formed. Single covalent bond. So a single covalent bond is formed by what? It is formed by a sharing of what? Sharing of 1 electron each from each atom. Now fluorine has 1 electron free. Fluorine here also 1 electron free. So what will happen now? This fluorine is what? Shown by this bond. So what will happen? A sigma bond is formed between 2 fluorine atoms and it exists as a F2 molecule. So this is what? This is covalent bond pair. One single line indicates presence of 2 electrons. So 1 electron from this fluorine and second electron from second fluorine are being shared. Okay, clear? So sharing of 1 electron each from each atom. If 2 atoms are involved, each atom will contribute 1 electron, and that's how a single covalent bond is formed. Now let's move that how a double covalent bond is being formed. A double covalent bond is formed by sharing of what? 1 electron, 2 electron each from each atom. So what will happen here in this case? First this electron will be shared and you have a single covalent bond. Then you have sharing of this electron and you have formation of double bonds. So what will happen? In case of oxygen molecule, there will be 2 bond pair exist between them, and in addition to lone pair also there. So you can easily see that here in this case what happens. I am repeating once more here. Look at the oxygen electronic picture once more. This is oxygen electronic picture. Now if you easily see that here octet of this atom is complete. Count the number of electrons: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Similarly, octet of this atom is also complete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So octet of each and every atom is completed. Okay. So in case of Lewis structure, when single electrons are there, we have to share that electron with the singly occupied electrons to the other atom so that a chemical bond formation can take place. Here also, if you see fluorine atom, once more molecule, sorry, what will you observe? I told you one single bond represents 2 electrons. So if you carefully observe that this is the octet of fluorine and this is the octet of second fluorine. So both the atoms of fluorine are able to achieve their octet by sharing 1 electron each and by forming a covalent bond. Similarly, in case of oxygen also, each oxygen atom is able to complete its octet by sharing 2 electrons. So 1 bond pair means 2 electrons. Similarly, in case of nitrogen also, you have configuration what? You have 2s2 2p5, sorry. Configuration is 2p5. So what can happen? Nitrogen has 3 valence electron as unpaired, 5 and 1 as a lone pair. So second nitrogen also has. So what can happen? First electron is shared to form 1 bond. Second electron is shared, second bond. Third electron is shared, third bond. So what can happen now? 1, 2, 3. So what can happen? You can easily see once more. Nitrogen has complete octet. This octet is complete. This octet is complete. Are you sure about that? Okay. Now you can again see here that a covalent bonding is result from the sharing of electrons between the atoms. Like this atom is being shared, so you have formation of this bond. I told you this now. Similarly, in case of chlorine also, this electron is shared. Now in case of chlorine, what happens? In case of chlorine, that is the configuration similar to that of fluorine, but it has 3s. It has what? Configuration of 3s2 3p5. So this is fifth electron. So this electron is being shared, and this is bond pair. Red dot is bond pair, blue dots are lone pair. Each pair of shared electron constitute 1 chemical bond. Each pair, this red bond, this is also a pair. So each pair of shared electron in between the 2 atoms, not you can say confined only towards 1 atom. Each pair of shared electron constituent 1 chemical bond. Similarly, you can say multiple bond. I told you already how in oxygen double bond is formed and in nitrogen how a triple bond is formed. We already discussed that just now. So look at the scenario once more. Is single bond, double bond, triple bond. So when 3 shared pair of electrons present, that is N2. If 2 shared pair of electron present, that is O2. If only 1 shared electron present, that is H2. So single bond, only 1 shared pair. Double bond, 2 shared pairs. Triple bond, 3 shared pair of electrons. Are you okay with that? Sure? Now you can say that non-metal exhibit both covalent and ionic bonds. Compound with metals, non-metals generally gain electron and becomes negatively charged. And compound with other non-metals, valence electrons are generally shared to achieve valence shell configuration. Okay, that is nearest to its next noble gas. So what can happen? In hydrogen, 1 electron each is shared to achieve that. This is 1s2. So that is nearest noble gas helium. Similarly, in case of chlorine also, octet is being complete. Chlorine octet is here complete. Second atom octet is here complete. So bonding is formed. Bonding happens to complete the octet. Look at that. In nitrogen also, this is bond 1, first bond, that is second bond, and that is third bond. So 3 sigma bonds are formed. So 3 sigma bonds are formed. So in case of N2, what happens? In case of N2, there are how many? 3 shared pair of electrons. 3 shared pair of electrons are present. Now look at that here. In this case, oxygen. Oxygen has how many electrons are there? Only 2 electrons are unpaired. Hydrogen has only 1 electron. Hydrogen has only 1 electron. So these are shared like that. So in case of water, this is shared pair of electron bonding, and these are 2 lone pairs. These are 2 lone pairs. So you can easily see that here. Okay, so 1 red and 1 blue. Red belongs to oxygen and blue belongs to hydrogen. So you can see that octet of both are being complete. Oxygen has how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All electrons are completed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Are you getting that? So oxygen is able to complete its octet. Repeating once more. Look at there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 electron. 5, 6, 7, 8. So how this bond has been done? Are you sure about that? Similarly, in case of nitrogen also, nitrogen has how many? Nitrogen has 5 valence electron. So hydrogen has only 1 valence electron. So what can happen here? This electron is shared. This electron is shared. And this electron is shared. It results in what? Results in formation of what? Formation of 3 bonds. And 1 lone pair is already present here. So one, okay, clearly clear. This is lone pair, and all 3 of them are bond pair. Are you sure about it? So in case of carbon also, like 4 bonds are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. If 4 bonds are there, they are called as what? They are called as 4 covalent bonds, and each bond contains 2 electrons. So carbon will have the complete octet. In case of methane, you can easily see that, because each bond has, you can see that in between this C and H, 2 electrons, C and H, 2 electrons, C and H, 2 electrons, C and H, 2 electrons. Okay. Now sometime what can happen in case of ammonium cation, that can happen. This lone pair is given to H plus. H plus has how much? H plus has no electron, 1s0. So that lone pair of electron goes to the vacant s orbital of hydrogen. So this is called as electron donation. Electron pair donation. What is that? Electron pair donation. A lone pair of electron, is donated to what? Donated to H plus. A lone pair of electron is donated to H plus. So octet of all the 4 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of nitrogen is being completed. Hydrogen has nearest noble gas 1s2, helium. So 2, 2, 2. Okay. So hydrogen is able to achieve noble gas configuration. Similarly, nitrogen also has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 electrons around itself. So nitrogen also able to complete its octet. So here what can happen? A coordinate bond. Whenever a lone pair is being lost, the loss of lone pair is called as coordinate bond formation. What is called as? It is called as coordinate bond formation. Now look at that Lewis structure of CO2. Carbon has 4 electrons around itself. So what can happen? Its electron, one will form electron with oxygen, second will also form with oxygen, third one with oxygen, fourth one with oxygen. So what can happen? Carbon has octet. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This carbon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So carbon has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 electron has bond pair. So it has complete octet. Carbon also has complete octet. Why? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is able to complete its octet like that. Here also carbon dioxide, oxygen is able to complete its octet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Are you sure about that? Similarly, in case of ionic compound also, octet is being reached by losing and accepting electron. Sodium has configuration of 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. So by losing electron, it becomes Na plus. So what has Na plus has? Na plus has 1s2, 2s2, 2p6. Nearest noble gas configuration of neon. Similarly, chlorine atom has what? 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. So that electron goes to this one. So it becomes what? So chloride ion becomes valence shell configuration 3s2, 3p6. That is also noble gas configuration. So in ionic bond also, what happens? In ionic bond also, electron is being lost by an atom and gained by a non-metal, and the metal becomes cation and non-metal becomes anion. So anion will accept electron and cation will lose electron. So sodium has lost electron to become Na plus, and chlorine gained electron to become chloride negative anion. So both chloride and Na plus have complete octet now.